Hey guys, this is Chris Park from Arkin Games. So this is a very incomplete look at the current state of a lot of the ships that are in the game. Um, we have a variety of things that we need to update on some of these, and not all of them remotely are even in here. If you've been watching the forums and so forth, then you've seen Synth post things like um, the Devourer Golem for sure. I don't remember if he posted pictures of the Nemesis there or not, but at any rate, those things. Everything is modeled now and textured. It's not all imported yet, and what is imported isn't all up into our source control repository yet. So that said, we are just now starting to have players or our Kickstarter backers who have the ARC design backer tier, and so we're just now reaching out to them to say, hey, what is it you want to see? And let's try and start building that out. And we had somebody suggest, hey, it'd be kind of nice to see what's already in there as a, baseline point. So here we are. These are some of the devious devices, as we call them. They do various bad things. So let's see, we've got this. Hey, come on now. My selection isn't. I've got it normally locked down on that layer. Sorry. There we go. All right. It just doesn't want to select. All right. Well, that's annoying. At any rate, you've got the things like the troop transport and um, things along those lines. Blue, if you're watching this, you'll probably notice that I changed the coloring and whatnot on these fairly substantially, as well as their orientation of where uh, the line part of it is. And that was because they were just too darn hard to tell apart. Please don't pay too much attention to the glow. It's a bit overdone at the moment, as you can tell. Blue's going to take a pass through the post-processing side of things. I have not been real thrilled with how mine has come out. It's a little bit circusy looking at the moment, and I am pretty pleased with the shader that I've got set up and how you can get a lot of detail and nice dark side and light side different effects with the metallic and the normal maps and all that sort of thing, giving you a nice view of how differently things can look in the dark and the light side. You can still see some details on this, even though it's on the dark side. And same deal here, lighting, emissive light bits aside. The glow is being obnoxious right now. I'm not sure why that's as bad as it is. At any rate, we've got the little guys, the fighter, the bomber, the autocannon mini pod, the iBot. The glow is just, this is unreal, the amount of glow that this is doing. Let me see if I can turn this down a little bit, because this is hard to even see. I'm not sure. We'll just turn off the glow for now. So no bloom. This is what it looks like without the bloom at all. Having some bloom definitely is nice, but the type of bloom to the degree that it was a minute ago was no good. I'll turn off, I'll leave that on for now. At any rate, So you've got the spider there in the middle. This is, what is that? For some reason, my click to select isn't working properly at the moment. Selectable ship is locked. Why on earth was selectable ship locked? There we go. Okay. Right. So that's the iBot. And it's the laser Gatling right there. This thing is the Implosion Drone. So it's not really a ship. It comes out of the Implosion Guardians, I think it is. We've got a couple of turrets here with the laser and then the needler and the MLRS. The positioning and stuff's gotten all weird too. This is the missile turret. This is the MLRS turret. There's just a little test scene. It doesn't really matter, but they're intersecting one another in a way that they didn't used to. So I don't know what's up with that. You got the missile corvette there, the shield generator. This is the shoot, what do you call it? The Tachyon tractor turret. Blah. This one here is the Lightning Corvette. So it's kind of like the electric shuttle in the first game. And then you've got the MLS Corvette there. This is getting into the Guardians here. And nope, sorry, that's a Needler Corvette. And this is a beam cannon turret right here, which there are several different levels of that. And you can see just how small those things are compared to, for instance, these Guardians. I look forward to having a lot of the color correction stuff in better shape, but such is life for now. These are the Carrier Guardians right here. These ones here are the Missile Guardians. And then we've got our Implosion Guardians here, which those let off the Implosion drones. These are different, mark levels of the same type of ship there. We've got the Lightning Guardians here. Let's see here. This is the focused gravity generator, which is basically like a gravity turret from the first game. These ones are sniper starships. The other ones from this class are out there further with organized by size versus by type. These ones are assault starships here. These are shield ones. These ones, which have been kind of a ongoing thorn, are the stealth starships. I really like how I've got the electric stuff going along there. I've got a little map for that. Overall coloring and stuff I'm still not real thrilled with, but yeah. This is the old science thing that I kind of threw together. This one's going away. Blue has made some new dreadnought alien husks that will be replacing that. Those are basically old, ruined pieces of alien technology that you explore, and that's not at all what this looks like, obviously. This thing here is the Usurper. There's 5 marks of that. Those kind of come back in and reclaim territory for the AI. These again go down into Guardians here. So the Plasma Guardians. One thing to note, difference between Guardian and a Starship. Both AIs and players can have Starships. Only AIs get Guardians. Here you've got a Tachyon Array, which is kind of like a Tachyon turret, kind of, sort of, in the first game. However, you don't have you don't have to set them up like all over the place to reveal cloaked ships. They work on a more planet-wide basis. This here is a experimental fabricator, and then this is a warhead silo for the AI. The warheads that you create are ones that you spit out of your arc, so you don't need a separate thing like that. This is a Sentinel frigate. Excuse me. And then over here, these are the Needler Guardians of a number of different sizes. These are MLRS Guardians. It's very burned in colors on some of this. It just needs some TLC, basically. The experimental turret controller here. A lot of the AI data things follow this sort of pattern where they've got like these kind of solar panel-y things, and then the moving bits on there. This is an assault starship. This is another one of those ones you can get. Oh, we already talked about that, actually. This thing here is a that is a fuel generator that is disabled. This is one that that is actually enabled. So you would capture this one and it would power up into that. Then over here you've got a power generator, and then you've got the 3 different types of main controllers for a planet, which denote who owns it. So you've got the human one, the nobody owns it one, neutral territory, and then the AI ones. And then let's see here. I don't think we've looked at this class of ship yet. So we've got the Plasma Guardians here. Now, this is a Starship constructor here, but then I've also got a actual Starship in it. So if I hide the Starship that's in it, you can get a bit better of an idea of what this looks like. I thought I had some rotational parts on that. I guess not. I thought it was rotating at one point. Maybe there's a reason I stopped. This is warp gate for the AI. So not thrilled with how the actual warp gate part, the warpy part, looks there or elsewhere, but one thing at a time. Let's see here. More of these that we've already looked at certain ones of. Oh yeah. So this is an advanced factory. So this is, you can tell how this has some similarities to the space dock, but it's like bigger and badder sort of thing. And it's got a turret that's kind of misplaced under it, some more usurpers. This is one of the Special Forces ninja hideouts, and it's a lot like the stuff in the first game. The Special Forces hideouts are kind of in an asteroid. This is a little bit weird of an asteroid. I think we'll wind up working with the texturing on that some in the future. But for now, there we are. And this thing is a Flak Guardian. Then we start getting into, what is this thing? Hello. Oh yeah, right. Gosh, I forgot we already had these in here. The fortresses. So, bristling with guns all over the place. It's kind of non-directional. It pretty much sits there. I mean, it can move a little bit on the planet, but you know, like a fortress in the first game, it pretty much sits there and is this big stationary defensive thing. Now we've got a couple of people that have um, custom fortresses that they'll be able to design. So this is the existing one, and so hopefully we'll have some pretty cool, you know, in the same vein, bristling with guns and all that, and big and imposing, but some, you know, fresh ideas from those people who through Kickstarter backed at the tier where they could do custom fortresses. We have like 11 people doing arcs, and I think we have like only maybe 2 people doing fortresses. So big difference in the numbers there, mainly because we added the fortresses as I think a later tier. I think it costs more, and we also added it later in the campaign. So and arcs are exciting, so people wanted that more. This thing here, this whole thing is is one piece. So this is a giant ion cannon right here. So basically, if you remember the ion cannons and whatnot from the first game, or the orbital mass drivers, those things were the biggest guns around, biggest single guns around, you know, and they would sit on a planet and shoot at anything and everything on the planet. Now, the scale of these compared to some of this other stuff is huge. These are almost the biggest guns around, because in the new game, we hit the stretch goal of interplanetary ones, and so we also have, I don't think they're in this scene, but we have some interplanetary ones that are even bigger that can shoot from one planet to adjacent planets. So there's that. And then here we've got the orbital mass driver, the big old thing that chucks rocks. And then here we've got the Warhead Interceptor, which is more of a defensive thing. And then here, more Flak Guardians. They're way over here for some reason. Here we've got the Dyson Sphere. The scale of this is kind of hard to even explain when you put things next to one another versus just kind of lined up in the parking lot like we've got here. I mean, this thing is like 1,000 times taller than the fighter, I think. Something along those lines, maybe a little more than that. Maybe it's 10,000. So you could probably fit either 10,000 or 100,000 fighters inside that. I can't remember which, but it's big, 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 big. These are Spire things, so they look very, very different. So you've got the shard reactor here. These things really rely on the bloom to look completely proper. You got the galactic capital here. That is the galactic capital, yeah. And then you've got the Spire Shipyard, very hollow, and so on. You've got the Spire habitation complexes, city hubs for the Spire. And you've got the 5 different levels of Spire capital ships that go from giant to still really giant. And then over here, we've got a bunch of our AI stuff. So you've got the ARS, the Advanced Research Station there. Here you've got the coprocessor. This one is your data center. And then back over this way, you've got your super terminal. And then when you're at the end of the game, the AI master controller is this dealie. And once you spoiler alert. But once you break that to a certain amount, then the spire breaks off and it turns into this thing, which has thrusters in the back and is able to move around. And so that's pretty different from the first game. It's able to actually like run around, unlike the first time. So, and then we come to the Ark, which the Ark by itself is quite big. It doesn't really hold a candle to the Spire ships, or the certainly not like the Dyson Sphere or the Nemesis or the Devourer when those are in there. Some of the Zenith stuff, but none of which is in here for me to show you right at the moment. There's like 179 distinct ship graphics, and I've probably only showed you 90-ish maybe. So there's a lot of other things. And we have 21 distinct ship graphics that have been, well, or skins that have been commissioned by players who were backers, and those will be available for everybody to actually play with after we build them in. But hopefully this look at things will help give you an idea if you're one of those people who is wanting to create an arc or whatnot through your existing backer contribution. Hopefully this gives you some ideas. I have shut off the ability to do further backing at that level just because we're a bit tapped out on the art creation front for these, but the various other tiers on BackerKit are still available for pre-order, but not the art ones. So, and it's been a while since we've moved one of those anyway in terms of sold a unit of that. So, yeah, basically with the arcs, the idea is that it would be fitting inside this cube. The one that I chose to do is very tall and thin. Yours doesn't have to be. But the idea is that we will scale it such that it feels similar in scale to this guy, which means that it needs to have enough small windows and stuff to really feel like it's this giant ship. You can't just take a fighter and scale it up. It wouldn't, it would just look like a fighter that's been scaled up. It has to look like this giant, thing that's an arc. So, with that in mind, certain design elements work better than others in terms of, these things are never going to go into the atmosphere. So any sort of wings are going to be kind of decorative or serve some sort of, function like, I don't know, binocular vision sensors or, keeping something that's hot away from the central living quarters so they can bleed, energy off into space or something. There's various things you could make up, but it wouldn't be for purposes of like stability and flight through an atmosphere. Is mainly my point. So, yeah, that gives a pretty good idea of the parking lot at the moment. This is under half of what I'd really prefer to have showed you, but such is life. We're still adding those in. And oh yeah, we do have some others that are other colors. Like this one is a weak point. It's a ruined network node, so it's red instead of the more bluish color. I think, oh yeah, and we've got the actual missiles are here, warheads are here, but the metal versus smoothness values on those are not really set right, which is true on a number of these things. They just need some shader properties tuning. So We have some post work to do in general, but that all kind of comes down to fiddling with dials and I think that's it. Any questions, obviously, email us or post on the forums. Thanks for watching.